Do 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 do.
You told me to be quiet so you could sing?
I told you to be quiet so people don't hear what you're saying.
But they could hear you singing, right?
My singing is not offensive.
To you.
Is it offensive to you, Lynn?
No, I wouldn't say it's offensive.
It's just really annoying, right?
It's annoying. It's bullshit. But not offensive.
Okay, good morning to everybody listening on demand. You're the only ones that can hear this, by the way. Our chat room is getting filled up, but the sound is not coming through yet, so that's one, I guess that's a pro or a con, if you consider our mumbling around for a couple minutes. A con or a pro, Leonard?
I'm not a con. I'm an ex-con.
Pitch con.
I am definitely an ex-con.
You're an ex-con, huh? You
Yep.
forgot to tell me about that.
Okay, where are
What'd you go to jail for, Leonard?
Don't talk about jail. You've been in jail. I haven't.
I've been in the drunk tank. That's not the same thing.
Oh, no, I'll give you credit for that. It's drunk tank.
So today we're going to talk fantasy baseball. Imagine
Why
that.
can't I find
Okay.
what I'm looking for?
Sound is good.
Sound is
So
good?
get your shit together.
All right, sound is good.
So get your together.
Yeah.
Oh, James K.
What?
All right, so everybody, this is Sunday. Lady and the Legend. It's Leonard and me. Am I the legend and you're the lady?
Sometimes I feel like it, but it's good to be here. And
Good morning to Danny Fuller. Captain Danny, we missed you. We understand, though. I mean, Danny's so busy.
He's in California, right?
He's in California, and he's a big family man, and we love to see it.
And he sent me a note about 4 o'clock this morning.
Who?
And,
Captain Danny did?
Captain Danny, because he wanted to publicize the show, so I had to send him something.
Danny.
What a great
Anyway,
guy.
so did you get any sleep, or have you just been on one big, long bender?
One Howard
Howard bender coming up.
All right,
Where's
Turd? I have a reminder for you.
Yeah.
Should we wait for more people to get into
Yes,
the chat
let's
room?
wait for some people.
Let's wait for
let's say
everybody
hi
to
to
get-
who we have already.
Go ahead, say
Triple
hi.
play, go, go, go. Triple play.
Yeah.
Danny, guest Danny Fuller. We have Timothy Hooker, Rotorius, who says his pitching sucks. The
That's
whole
right.
back end of his pitching sucks. You should check out Ben Brown, Cody Bradford, AJ Smith-Shawver may get a call-up soon. You also have another guy that's just on fire in the minor leagues for the New York Mets. His name is Christian Scott. And there's also Jose Budo coming up today.
That's right.
And what about, we didn't have any real thing about, is Turd here? Yes, Turd is in the house. So now we could talk some real nonsense.
Now just remember, and this is very important to everybody, so write this down.
And Laura, good morning to Laura
It
Mary.
really affects everybody.
Chris Gallo. You see, Chris Gallo's kid is
Yeah, he's got a big thing going on.
He's a business guy he puts together Disney vacations.
Yep.
So if anybody in the chat room wants to go on vacations, you talk to Chris Gallo. He'll hook you up with his kid. I love I did share it. I do try to share people's stuff when I see it on Facebook.
Well, I enjoy going to Disney World.
Dizzy?
Yeah, I don't go to Disney. I go to Disney.
Disney World?
Anyway, Monday. This is very important.
Brewer Jim is here, James K. and
You will let me finish.
Turd.
Very important. The Red Sox from Boston play Monday morning at 11 a.m. because of the Boston Marathon and stuff. So get your lineups in.
Yes, if you're not paying attention.
So in many leagues, if you get your lineups in after the first game, bingo! It goes
You're
against
done,
you.
right?
You're absolutely dead.
Yes,
but
so don't
get your
forget.
lineups in. Okay,
Get your lineups in the morning, and you'll remind them again in the morning, right? Because that's what we do around here.
No question.
We don't have any notes about Colton Cowser, but I want to talk about him for a second.
Well, hold on a second.
Or
I
do
just
we?
want to say one other thing. Answer Rotorius' question.
Oh, gosh.
Wants to know why Sirius Radio, and I'm not going to knock Sirius because they do what they're very important company. They do what they think is best for them. Why are they talking football? Here's the answer. The answer is more people respond to football. More people call the station, more people participate in football than baseball.
That's because it's for... Never mind, it's rude what I was going to say.
What?
But basically, the point is, you people that play baseball are the smarter of the groups, because baseball takes a lot more work, it takes a lot more dedication, and it is a lot harder. And if you want to know football, this is why it's so ridiculous that people are talking football all year long. And I understand that people love football, but honestly, it takes like a couple weeks at the most to get ready for your draft. If somebody gets hurt, you know who's coming in to replace them. It's not like baseball where it takes a lot of effort and a lot of mental stuff.
Is football really crazy? Look, we all have our feelings about it. They don't have enough baseball people. That's number one. They fired me, and they're happy with that. So la 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 la. And let me tell you, it's not even me.
They don't have any money. That's the thing.
If you listen to Andrea's show on Saturday, and you don't think that show and that lady belong on Sirius Radio, they don't have any females doing baseball shows.
They do. They have a couple. I don't know if they. Who cares? Anyway?
Nobody. She deserves it. She's earned it. And instead, they put on football. You know what? Take from that whatever you do, and that's what it is.
Doesn't matter if I even want to do it. I like doing what we do.
Okay. All right, guys. Now
let's start.
Pitching is just going crazy all over the place. It's breaking down. But no team has it worse than the Astros. Now, they have the third worst record in Major League Baseball.
Good morning to Leonard Donaldson.
Now, here's the question.
And he's the Astros fan in the resident
He's the Astros
chat room.
fan. Well, so am I. I predicted the Astros would win the American League, okay?
Why? Because of habit?
No, because I think they have the best team. And when you have Altuve and Abreu, and Abreu's not doing anything with Bregman, Kyle Tucker, I think they have a pretty good team. But their pitching, as I said, their pitching is not doing it. Even Josh Hader has had a couple of rough games, but they got Verlander on the injured list. They got Frankie Valdez, Framber Valdez on the injured list, Lance McCullers, Luis Garcia, Jose Ugarte. Wow. Kendall Graveman's, they're all on there.
Can I give some updates instead of you just reading off the damn depth chart?
But I suggest that you pick up Christian Javier and even Hunter Brown, who has been awful. Hunter Brown has been awful.
Hunter Brown is an interesting case because we talked. He's got good underlying statistics, which made us all believe that he was pretty much. And he did have some bad luck, according to these stats. His numbers were not flashy last year, but he strikes out a lot of batters. He doesn't allow a lot of base runners, and he induces a lot of ground balls. So that's the thing about Hunter Brown. He's not doing it in game time. That's when the statistics fail you, because when game action comes around, you either do it or you don't. Now, as far as Verlander is concerned, he made his second rehab start yesterday at AA, but at AAA, he made his first rehab start on April 7th, and he went 3 innings, struck out 6, but he also allowed 7 runs on 7 hits and a walk. So yesterday was his second rehab start. Verlander is on his way back. We also have Framber Valdez, who the manager Joe Espada said on Thursday that he's feeling better and could play catch within the next few days. That was on Thursday. It's been a few days, so I don't know if he's playing catch. There's no updated news. But a potential timetable for Framber Valdez's return won't even be available until he starts ramping up his throwing again. But the Astros, they seem optimistic as far as it being not a lengthy absence. But how about my friend Kevin Ginkel?
Wait a second. Before we get to Ginkel, I picked the Astros to even get into the World Series. So should I, based upon that, start getting Astro players on my fantasy team.
Good morning to Tommy Johnson. Good morning to
Tommy
Malpal.
Johnson,
Good morning to
Malpal,
Tina.
everybody. Look out, everybody. Laura, Leonard
And
Donaldson.
Mary.
Okay, now, should I go ahead and start picking up Astro players under the heading of I picked them to win? What do you think?
You can't pick up anybody because you're playing in best ball leagues now, so you don't get to do anything.
You know what I'm saying? I said, should anybody who picked the Astros?
No, they're not even available if you wanted to pick up Astros players, unless you want to trade somebody to me for Jose Abreu, which I'll be glad to trade away.
Okay. You mentioned Kevin Ginkel, so here's my question to you.
Ginkel.
How many years ago did you mention Kevin Ginkel?
I don't know. Let's ask Malpal. He's had him on his only league since I told him.
How many years have you been talking about Kevin Ginkel?
Fine, I'm a couple years early on these guys.
But it's
3 years ago, maybe.
It still matters, though. He earned a save. Got a save against the Cardinals on Saturday with a perfect inning. He needed just 9 pitches, so I got to give you credit.
Yes. And
nobody's talked about this guy for years, and you stuck with him.
And Malpal just keeps drafting him. We joke around about him being a part of our family because when nobody's left to draft, just get Kevin Ginkel, right? Okay.
That's right.
Anyways, I have him on a couple of leagues this year just because I was desperate.
Rotoria says his Ginkel hurts. All right. But anyway, Kevin Ginkel.
He did blow his first save opportunity of the season.
Mackerel.
What? Did I interrupt you?
No, you don't. You never interrupt.
Did I interrupt you?
No. Go.
All right. Since he blew his first save opportunity on April 5th, Ginkel has converted each of his past 3 save chances. And of those 3 outings, he hasn't allowed a run, 1 hit allowed, and 4 strikeouts and 2 walks over 3 innings. So your next quote is going to just send me off the cliff, dude.
Okay. So let's talk about this for a second.
This is a dude that I literally blocked over this post. I'm just fed up with this guy. I can't stand him. I never agree with him. Even when I do agree with him, I try to talk to him and he ignores me because he can't stand me.
What are you talking about?
And I can't stand him. Craig Calcaterra, the biggest loser vulture in the whole world. But he is such a loser.
How many people believe...
This is from him.
That Trevor Bauer, because he was in front of it, he was everywhere he's gone. He's been proven innocent, despite a lot of evidence against him.
There's no evidence against him. That's a bunch of bullshit. And anybody that says there's lots of evidence against him hasn't even bothered to look into the case.
So he's proven innocent. But how many believe that Shohei Ohtani, where there's lots of evidence showing that he's guilty, how many people think he's guilty? So Bauer and Ohtani.
Here's exactly what Craig posted on X yesterday. He says, wondering how many people believe Trevor Bauer was proven innocent despite lots of evidence against him, while also believing that Ohtani had to have been involved despite 0 evidence of that and lots of evidence absolving him. There's so much wrong with this. In our country, you do not have to prove innocence, okay? You are innocent until proven guilty. That's number 1. Number 2, there is there's no evidence specifically tying Ohtani to any of the transactions, and that's fine. Honestly, I don't even care if Ohtani is guilty or not. I don't care.
What do you mean you don't care?
What is he guilty of? Gambling?
Gambling.
So is the MLB. So, you know what? You do things, you want your players to follow suit, you actually have to follow the rules yourself. When every single thing you do is revolving around gambling, what do you expect people to do? Obviously, Ippy got a little ahead of his britches. I still believe that day that Ohtani was asked about his friendship with Ippy, and Ohtani said straight up, he's not my friend, he's my business partner. I don't care what anybody thinks. There is no specific evidence tying Ohtani to any of it, and I'm good with that. But anybody that thinks it's reasonable that 19,000 different bets were made. Over $340 million came out of Ohtani's account, and none of it was put back in. That makes no sense.
And you promote gambling through FanDuel and DraftKings and so much gambling, and then anybody who gambles is...
I love it.
Turd. Considered a criminal.
Turd taking care of business.
So there you go. Now, Spencer Strider, we're all wondering what happened with him.
No, we all know now.
Okay,
right?
he underwent surgery, okay? He will miss the entire season. But, and Carlos Carrera was having a fabulous start, placed on the 10-day injured list with a right oblique strain.
Okay, 1 second. I have a question for the chat room, because I question this every time I see it, but I haven't really taken upon myself to look into this. But they mentioned something about Strider's surgery. They said that they used an internal brace, which seems to be something new that they're now doing. But somebody brought up on Twitter, should I keep Strider in a dynasty league? You have to, right? You have to keep Strider in a dynasty league.
You could also take the position that once he's had this, it's going to be maybe 2 years until he's at full strength
Why
again.
2 years now?
Because he had what was equivalent to Tommy John.
I don't know if this internal brace is supposed to make the recovery time cheaper.
I would keep him unless I could get somebody that makes a difference for me, okay? That's what I would do, okay?
Tommy Johnson, one of my favorite people to look for on Facebook, the most positive person in town.
I'll tell you what, we should be very proud of something.
What should we be proud of?
Remember, 3 years ago or something, we said Esteban Florial for the Yankees was not good. We saw him in person, and we said, forget about it. And he stayed on his team. The Yankees wouldn't give him up. I just saw yesterday for the first time that he was in the Guardians lineup as the DH. I didn't even know that, but the Yankees finally gave up on him, just like we suggested 3 years ago.
Turd says that Strider getting that internal brace makes the comeback. It wasn't a full Tommy John surgery because of that brace. So they're saying that he did the brace to come back earlier, but they're still saying, that's still a year away. If he comes back April, that's still a year away. It doesn't seem like it shortens the rehab that much. Yesterday for Esteban Florial, he was in for 8 plate appearances. He hit 1 home run.
He did. I didn't see that.
Drove in a run and struck out 3 times. He batted .167 yesterday, but got on base more than once.
Yeah, I don't think Esteban Florial is
He doesn't have any options left, so he's stuck on the team, and if they let him play, that's one thing. But I do think he might do a little better playing for the Guardians than he did for the Yankees.
Why? He can't hit.
It's just a less of pressure.
I don't know.
He can't hit.
He's got enough pressure knowing that if he screws up early, he's gone.
He doesn't have a career anymore?
I don't think so. I would say no.
Okay. What about Yelich through 10 games?
He has been on fire. If anybody noticed, the old Christian Yelich is back, batting .316.
In 10 games he has.
Leads the National League in home run and slugging percentage.
I'd love to see his launch angle now.
What about his launch angle?
Well, it must be up high since he's hitting home runs. He's got 5 home runs. He leads the National League in slugging percentage. Anyways, let's talk about
my boy.
You know why he's your boy?
Anthony Rendon,
So you know that we're the only 2 people in the whole fantasy baseball universe talking about Rendon in a nice way.
He started the season with 0 for 21.
He sucks, dude. But I still stick up for him because I
don't think he sucks. I think if you can get Rendon now cheap, and you may have missed your opportunity.
He's free.
What do you mean he's free?
He's literally free for anybody that wants to get him. You can buy him with your fab. You spend $1.
Well, then get him. He could be the best free agent out there. If you're you want to pick up a hitter. 8 for his last 24.
I drafted him on a couple of really, really deep, like 40 or 50 players deep. But you just never know. Everybody hates him, and I noticed this more than ever.
I don't hate Mitchell. I don't hate Big Al and the Prowl. I love those 2 guys.
But I get a lot of shit for saying Anthony Rendon, at pick 600 is worth a chance at pick 600, and people just... So I just felt a lot of pleasure posting this yesterday about Anthony Rendon.
Tommy Johnson.
He went 0 for 21 to start the season. They started cheering him on. The fans were cheering Anthony Rendon on.
Yes, they were.
In which I love this whole idea of cheering on your players that are doing bad. Batting .333 since recording his first hit of the season last Friday. But he's still batting 8 for 46. That keeps him under the Mendoza line. So don't get all crazy. And by the way,
I like Rendon. I say if you can get Rendon, get him today. Okay? Today.
Kyle Tucker.
Oh,
you like
boy.
him, Leonard?
I never did. But I've been...
You don't like his swing?
Well, I have learned that he is a much better player than I thought he was.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
3 RBIs on 2 doubles helped the Astros with a 9-2 win over the Rangers. He went 2 for 4 with 2 home runs in Friday's loss to Texas. I'll tell you what, he's really hitting the ball. 69 plate appearances, batting .258, 6 extra base hits, and 10 RBIs. So,
oh my gosh, listen to this. This is just the freaking epitome of hypocrisy right here.
What?
It's just like the sticky stuff. They don't care if pitchers throw their arms out, but in the meantime, they're making up this sticky stuff that is MLB approved, where MLB will make all the money off of it, and you can only use it if it's MLB.
Who told you that?
I started reading about that when they started hunkering down on the sticky stuff, but this is what Mitch says. MLB has approved player bets on non-baseball sports if they use MLB-approved betting partners, DraftKings and FanDuel. So the Emperor has no close. Unless they can prove Ohtani bet on baseball, they can shut the F up. I agree. I agree with Mitchell on this pretty big time. I mean, it doesn't matter because nobody will ever convince me that Ippy... was not betting on baseball. He was so desperate. He was down $140 million. He knew he sucked at betting, and someone's going to tell me that he had any kind of integrity, that he would say, I'm stealing $340 million from my employer, but I'm not going to bet on baseball because that would just make me a bad person.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, Mitchell's right, and I like it, but Kyle Tucker doing great. Okay, let's talk about Imanaga, who I said is going to have a better year than Yamamoto.
You did say that.
I just said
something? He became his ERA so far is what? Zippo.
He's 0. He's the 5th pitcher since 1913 to not allow an earned run in each of his 3 MLB each of his 3 first starts in the major leagues. A minimum of 12 innings. He joins Andrew Abbott, Luis Hill, Mike Norris, and Bernie Bolin.
I remember Bernie
So
Bolin.
far, he's recorded 46 outs and 0 earned runs.
All right, here's a guess. I'm going to ask the chat room. What was the paid attendance for the Oakland Athletics yesterday?
It was...
Don't give the answer.
It was 1/5 of the paid attendance for the Dodgers yesterday.
Attendance.
Did you know that?
This is not good for baseball.
1/5 of the paid attendance at the Dodgers game.
That's right. So put it in the chat room.
3,330.
I'm telling them to put it in the chat room as a question, and you give me the answer. I'm sitting next to you. Can't you hear me? 3,330 is the paid attendance.
Leonard, I just have so much fun.
I'm glad you do. Having fun. So, and also back to the Astros, which you quickly scampered through. They're the second team in Major League Baseball history to allow a 6+ run inning in at least 3 straight games and then score 6+ runs in an inning in their next game. Astros, a crazy team.
Okay,
I'm telling
they're
you
still
right
guessing.
now.
They're
What's
appeasing
today?
you. They're still guessing in the chat room. They're guessing.
They don't get
Church says 1. Rotoria says 26 people. James K is the closest with 3,400. Guest Danny Fuller says 7,200. It was 1/5 of what the Dodgers sold yesterday in tickets. It was 3,330.
So I'm telling you right now, today is the 14th.
You love the Astros, right?
Get Astro players in your team. Trade for them. Get the pitchers. It's Astro time, okay?
Ohtani already has 2 unanimous MVPs.
And you can kiss my Astro after you do that, okay?
He's off to his best start this year through 17 games. As a hitter, extra base hits 15. He's had the most hits, the best batting average, the most runs, the most total bases, the most OBP, the best slugging, the best OPS. All of it. He's broken all of his previous records. Even though he already has 2 unanimous MVPs, he is off to his best start to the season. That was even after an 0-for-2 night with 2 walks. He also has the most extra base hits in the first 16 games with the team since at least 1901.
Okay.
That's unbelievable.
Who has 30 or more strikeouts and fewer than 5 walks in his first 4 career starts? Who does it? Since 1901. Who is the guy? He's pitching now.
Crutch?
Crutch? You're saying crutch? Well, my crutch or your crutch? It's Garrett Crochet, so I'll give that to you, okay? 31 strikeouts, 4 walks for Garrett. Are you crutch? A beautiful female like you go on the radio and you say crotch. And that's supposed to attract people.
I don't care.
All right.
Hold
on a second.
What about Logan Webb? I wish Boston Paul was here today.
631. You got that? Somebody save her. 631-406-7141. We desperately need a phone call just to get her awake again.
I don't want to dump Brown, Malpal. I don't think it's a good idea to drop Brown. We need to bench him for the next couple starts, but I don't want to drop him right now. Unless we're desperate. I mean, what are we going to pick up to replace Brown? Ben Brown. You could drop Hunter and pick up Ben.
You were saying about Logan Webb?
Logan Webb, I had to console Boston Paul because you know I'm a big fan of Logan Webb. He doesn't try to throw 100 miles an hour. And honestly, he starts every season out shitty. He started this season shitty.
It's a family show.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Forgive me to the kids in the chat room. Logan Webb goes 7 strong innings as the San Francisco Giants take Game 2 in St. Pete. 10th time the Giants have scored 10 or more runs in a Logan Webb start. It's the first time since 2022. But the team is 24-0 in his career when they score 7 or more runs in his starts. And you would think that's not even really saying that much. I mean, of course you're going to win the game if you're scoring 7 or more runs.
Okay, but still they're doing it.
Anyway, this is the 10th.
24-0 when scoring. I know you said that's pretty impressive.
It's the 10th time the Giants have scored 10 or more runs in a Logan Webb start and the first time since scoring 13 in 2022.
There you go.
The Brewers are...
Wait, I want to thank everybody for making it to the chat room. It's a Sunday morning with the sun out. It's going to get a little tough to get here, but somehow, look at everybody.
Yo, Boston Paul, great to see you, just in time.
Everybody who got here. Big Al, Boston Paul, Chris Gallo, James Caplion, Laura, Leonard Donaldson, Malpal. Wow, look at this. Mitchell Horston, Rotorius, Timothy My Hooker, Tommy Johnston, Triple Play. So you want to talk about football? Danny Fuller is here. SM King Turner. Let's talk football.
No.
Okay? Go ahead.
No.
All right, go.
Boston Paul, Malpal says that Hunter Brown has never been good at the MLB level, which kind of worries me because there are many youngsters, and he's not really young anymore. There are many players who do excellent in the minor leagues, and they never do good in the majors. And we call those players quadruple A players.
Yeah. Because
they're too good for the minors, but they can't make it in the majors.
Right.
Maybe that's Hunter Brown, maybe not. You know, as for me, I probably have some other ridiculous player I can cut, like John Birdie, instead of cutting Hunter Brown. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have any, I mean, you know, it's all based on what your team needs. The Brewers beat the Orioles. They just took another series from the Orioles, and they tied a franchise record with their 6th straight game of 7 or more runs. They did it in 1989 and 1982. That's for you, James K., our resident Brewers insider.
What do you think of Pete Alonso?
I love Big Polar Bear.
198 home
runs. Who doesn't love? If you don't love Pete Alonso,
do you think the Mets are going to trade him?
They should not trade him.
Looks like they are going to trade him.
I'm telling you, the Mets have some young pitching that could really help them out in the near future. They are equipped more than most major league teams, even though it looks like they have these glaring holes in
King Hap is here. Stop everything. Go ahead.
Good morning to King Hap. Boom.
Who has the record? All right.
Tommy Johnson heading to church. Eddie sent us a text saying he was headed to church.
Everybody's going to church. Pete Alonso, 198 home runs and 698 career games.
Now, the fewest games to 200 career home runs.
Don't say it. It's a question.
Oh, it's a
Who has the fewest games for 200 career home runs? Name the player. I will give you a hint. He's no longer playing, okay? But he's a player that everybody knows. He's a recent
Phillies
player.
guy.
Come on. Gee, Willikers, okay? All right. Who's the player? It's a Phillies guy. What position?
Well, I'm not going to tell any more than that.
And Bobby Witt has scored 17 runs in his first 15 games. Okay,
what happened to you last night? Did you go to UFC, King Hap? Mark sent me a text this morning about the Brazilian guy who came on. I just love these UFC guys. I love these guys.
You talking about my son, Mark?
Yes, your son, Mark. He likes to tell me about the UFC fights when he sees them.
Oh, I see.
He said it was one of the best. He said yesterday, you got to find a way to watch it. It's the best UFC fight maybe ever. You know, regardless, I just have so much respect for these guys in the sport. They work their asses off. They show a lot of respect for each other. Even when they're fighting each other and kicking each other's ass, they still show mad respect for each other. I love the sport. I don't like seeing guys get beat up. Sometimes it's very cringeworthy. But UFC in general, I like it.
Okay. Garrett Crochet.
King Hap was at the boxing.
Garrett Crochet, 31 strikeouts.
We already talked about that.
Most in the pitcher's career start. Yeah, they're first in the American League in over 50 years to score 0 or 1 runs in at least 8 of their first. The White Sox have become arguably the worst team in baseball. I thought they were going to recover. But once again, when you have injuries to your key players, Lewis, Robert, who's the other guy? Everybody's hurt again. Eloy. Come on, you can't do it.
Okay.
Just can't do it like that. Go.
So the White Sox, since July 1st of last year, they've had 16 home series, and they've won one, and it was against the Yankees.
Now let's go to Minnesota for a minute. We don't talk about the Twins.
Joe Ryan's 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, wow.
The most by a Twins pitcher in the first 5 innings.
Anybody, go play with yourself. Does anybody have Joe Ryan on their team? We haven't talked about Joe Ryan too
12
much.
strikeouts, the most by a Twins pitcher in the first 5 innings of a game in at least the divisional era, which is 1969.
Right. It's a new career high for Joe Ryan. He's allowed a homer, 2 singles through 5 innings, 18 whiffs, including at least 3 on each of his
4-seamers.
Wait a second.
Don't say
18 whiffs as she checks her armpits. I mean, come on. I'm trying to have a civilized show here. I say whiffs and you pick your arm up. All right? Give me a break, will you please? All right, go ahead. Talk about... I can't do this anymore.
The one thing I love about Joe Ryan, the best thing about this whole thing... is that he has so many pitches that he's good with. 4-seamer, splitter, slider, and sweeper. He got 3 strikeouts on each, or 3 whiffs on each of those 4 pitches that I just mentioned.
It's a family show. Nothing wrong with whiffing your armpit. Michael Bush I'm not going there. Extended his home run streak to home run streak to 3 games. Went 2 for 4 with a solo home run Saturday. I'll tell you what, he's homered in 3 straight games after going deep once over his initial 11 games.
Cubs fan love this guy. Cubs fans,
he's been a standout first season with Chicago. So he's a player that wasn't drafted too high this year, but I'll bet you next year Kyle Busch is...
his name is Michael.
Oh, Michael Busch.
Okay, Kyle Schwarber, though.
That's right. That's
2 for 2 with 2 walks, all against lefties, if you could believe that. It's the first time in his career that he's reached base 4 times versus left-handed pitchers in a single game.
Yep, Kyle Schwarber. Now, how do you...
No.
What?
Manoah?
Well, I'm not done with Schwarber yet.
Okay.
Do you think that he still should be batting first in that Philly lineup?
I can't believe he's batting first. I mean, this guy hits a home run or he strikes out. Okay, it does exactly the opposite of what you're looking for with the number 1 batter, which is to either get on base. It's to get on base is what it is.
Right.
It's just to get on base.
Now,
Striking out and hitting a homer does neither of those.
Have you given up on Alek Manoah yet?
A long time ago, I
Really?
was turned on. I learned about Alek Manoah 2 years ago.
Yeah. He had a AAA rehab game, 3 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs. Okay?
And this is at AAA.
But they say his delivery looked better than last week at Single A.
What did he do? Give up 18 earned runs last week?
It's not about the runs, it's about how they look.
Apparently his apparently his misses weren't nearly as blatant as they were in Single A.
And the Padres really are...
Yes, Kyle Busch is NASCAR.
Crazy.
Pablo Lopez is what King had bet under 206 case.
Okay,
Anyway,
right.
the Padres in the 6th inning or later over their last 4 games, they've scored 21 runs. Runs, Padres 21, opponents 0.
That's right.
Home runs, Padres 8, opponents 0. Never before in MLB history has a team outscored its opponents 20-0 and out-homered them 8-0 in the 6th or later over a 4-game span. They did all of the damage in the 6th inning or later. Mal pal, I hope you're feeling good. Now, Bobby Miller has undergone an MRI which revealed no structural damage, but he is on the injured list. Miller has been shut down from throwing for the time being, and the Dodgers are hopeful that he'll be able to build up at a normal rate once he resumes throwing, so that's pretty good news.
Oh, by the way, one thing I say, Yelich is out. He's got a bad back again.
Lower back problems.
Yeah, so as good as Yelich has been doing, and thanks to the chat room for reminding me.
There's your cousin Betsy.
Where?
Right here.
Oh, how about that?
Hi, Betsy.
So anyway, Yelich is in some trouble right now. I neglected to say that before, so thanks to the chat room for reminding me. Okay.
Kyle Bradish is nearing a rehab assignment. He nurses a sprained UCL. GM Mike Elias indicated this afternoon to reporters, or yesterday, that John Means is even closer to a return to action. Means is scheduled for a 4th rehab appearance next week and could return to the majors before the end of the month. He is actually having a decent season, and somebody in the chat room mentioned that they'd rather have John Means or, hey, how about Paul Blackburn? He's been pretty darn good, too.
He's doing good.
All right, so if you need a pitcher, Paul Blackburn's probably there. Also, Chris Sale looked great. I know if you didn't look at him pitching yesterday, you would look at his line and you would see, okay, 5 earned runs in 7 innings pitched. He walked 3, but he did strike out 7. We love Chris Sale. He's
back.
He's got grit.
He's back now.
And the Braves need him to be back, too.
A call. Just to
we don't need a call.
We need a call for people to tell us how good we are. 631-406. 7141.
You need to be told how good you are, Leonard.
Get that. 631-406-7141.
Thanks to everybody for joining us in the chat room today. We really appreciate it. We just couldn't do it without you. We love the interaction. We love the baseball minds. And we just Right? We do it because
Yep.
we love it.
Because we love it. And I'll be back tomorrow because I do it because
We'll be back to remind you to set your lineups early tomorrow.
All right. Good. That's right. The Red Sox play at 11 o'clock. So you've got to put your lineups in before the first game.
Now, Colton Cowser, how much are we bidding on Colton Cowser? You know what? I am the opposite with Liddy. I like to save some of my fab money because players are coming up all year long, and when it gets close at the end,
it depends on on your needs.
You don't really know your needs exactly yet, and when people are spending hundreds of dollars on guys like Victor Scott, who's back down in the minors soon, and I just think that's ridiculous. But you got a guy like Colton Cowser, and in NFBC, you cannot pick up a minor leaguer. You can draft a minor leaguer, but after the draft, if the guy has not played a game in the majors, he's not available to pick up. Colton Cowser became available this week, so I assume that there's going to be a ton of money spent on him. I'm waiting for Heston Kierstad, who also wasn't drafted in my big money league.
Oh, really?
Colton Cowser. So the biggest thing with Cowser, we were wondering, is he going to be put in the lineup against left-handed pitching? Yesterday, he was put in the lineup against a lefty. He stole a base yesterday. He's already on fire. I was somewhat hoping that he wouldn't get on base yesterday against a lefty, but then I think it would have dropped his price a good chunk. Mm-hmm. People aren't willing to spend as much money on a guy who's a platoon guy, even if it's a strong side of a platoon. But, of course, Colton Cowser did a good job. He'll be back in the lineup again today, raising his bids. I guarantee people, depending on every day right now. So I put up something on Facebook yesterday and said, everybody in the fantasy baseball community is basically deciding if Colton Cowser can hit lefties based on what he does yesterday.
So who would you rather have? What's that?
Heston.
Whitaker?
Who's Whitaker?
Oh, what's his name? Whitlock? Garrett Whitlock. Would you rather have Colston? I'm getting older now, yeah.
You're getting old?
You know who I'm talking about. Whitlock, Hauser, Kierstad. Who would you rather have?
You're talking about Jackson Holiday?
Yeah.
Heston Kierstad and Colton Cowser.
Who would you rather have?
Holiday first, Kierstad second.
Do you think Holiday is going to be as good as people claim? I mean, I've never seen, it's been a while since I've seen the build-up like Holiday's getting.
He's really not, do you remember when the Blue Jays called up these three? Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, and Cavan Biggio, and we all went crazy. Yep. They were like the three youngsters of the world, and everybody was talking about the next greatest thing. Well, one of those three guys turned out to be the star, and it wasn't the one that everybody was harping on. That's why I tend to try to be a little bit more conservative with my money for fab. I mean, I'm bidding $190-something on Colton Cowser today.
Oh, that's a mistake. All right, thanks to Big Al. Thanks to James Caprion, King Hap, Laura, Leonard Donaldson, Malpal Mitchell, Roto Lady, you got Rotorius, Timothy My Hooker, Triple Play, Danny Fuller, SM King Turd. Sincere thanks to everybody for joining us. And you can call us anytime during the day until 4 o'clock.
I'll put the number in.
Put the number in the chat room if you need us for a trade or a pickup or anything.
Or if you just want to tell Lenny how good he is.
And I'll be here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Okay? Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you then.